Professor Edward W. Said, why the title Reflections on Exile, this book on essays?
Well, first of all, it's the title of one of the essays in there, which I wrote in 1984, and which seemed to me to capture, for my purposes at any rate, the condition of being somebody away from the place that he was born and belonged to, which was my condition. And I tried to generalize out from that to a more widespread modern condition of exile, of uprootedness, of migration, of immigration, of expatriation, and so on.
Where are you the happiest today?
I think probably on a plane. I live in New York. I don't think I could live anywhere else. And I find New York's anonymity and sort of volatility terrifically energizing, but I myself live a very quiet and quite sedentary life. I'm a creature of the university. I've been at Columbia since the early 60s, and I live on the campus, part of the sort of campus ghetto. And I find New York, strangely, a place of rest from lots of migration and travel. For myself, I travel a lot.
Someplace I read in one of your essays that, or one of your interviews, that there's a button in your home that would bring the police.
During the 80s, the second half of the 80s, I was subject to a lot of death threats and attempts. My office at Columbia was ransacked and my papers burned on one occasion. And so the officers of the 26th precinct and the security services of the university thought it better, because of these threats, to have a kind of panic button in my apartment.
Why did people want to harm you?
Well, because of my positions on Palestine. I mean, I've been a kind of outspoken activist on behalf of Palestinian rights since the '67 war. And then during the 70s, because of my writing, and I would appear on television, I became quite recognizable. And so there's a lot of strong feeling.
You say, though, that you've never taught the Middle East in a class.
Never, no. The only thing I've ever taught is literature, actually. I've taught basically the literature in which I was trained and which I love, mainly English and some American, but French, German, Italian, comparative literature. And I've never believed in using the classroom to deal with political issues in which I'm engaged. So my work is very historical, and I've tried to expose the students to as rigorous a historical and aesthetic approach to literature rather than a political one.